Guys, what is going on? Welcome to my review for last night's edition of Monday Night Raw. We're going to take a look at everything that took place on the February 6th, 2017 edition of Monday Night Raw from Portland, Oregon. I have to say, for the second week in a row, I enjoyed Raw. I thought this was a good show that, was entertaining throughout the entire night. Yeah, not everything on the show was great, but for the most part, I enjoyed what WWE had offered, so I'm just glad to finally enjoy two back-to-back episodes of Raw. It's been a long time since I've been able to say that, and I feel like WWE, set up, what they had to for the Fastlane pay-per-view, lay the groundwork for, some items that we'll see at WrestleMania. So all in all, I have to say this was a productive night from start to finish. And speaking of how Raw kicked off the air last night, we had the official contract signing for Samoa Joe's Raw brand exclusivity. Joe had signed his Raw contract, and he came down. He cut a really good promo, just spitting fire, saying, I've waited so long to get to this moment, and it took him 18 years to get to this moment, and he put Seth Rollins on the shelf. And he's putting the entire locker room on notice, Samoa Joe said he is. And he said he's going to come out here week after week and choke out your heroes. And just as Joe was going on, whose music hit? But Roman Reigns. You knew it was too good to be true. So Roman gets right in Joe's face. And I actually like what they did with Roman here. He didn't say a lot. He got right up in Joe's face. He was serious, no stupid jokes or whatnot. And Roman pretty much said, you're out here making real tough threats, but if you're going to do it to his face. And Reigns gave Joe two options. You got option one. You can either shut your mouth or Reigns will cave it in. And that led to Foley booking the huge main event match of Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns for the first time. I love this segment. Joe was just full of fire, passion, just intensity. And I really think he can thrive on Monday Night Raw if booked as the dominant, unstoppable monster heel. And, what they did with Reigns here, like I said, this is how you need to book this guy. If you're not going to turn him heel, then at least, go this more serious route. Just no holds barred. I'm getting in your face. And if I don't like you, this is my yard. Which kind of alluded to, the issues between Reigns and Undertaker, because Taker always claimed that the ring was his yard, so I just wanted to point that out if you didn't catch that as well. A little bit of foreshadowing there. But I love what Joe had to say. I wasn't bothered, with what they did with Reigns tonight, so that was a kudos. And the segment set up for the main event match later on in the night, so not really too much more to say except it's just great to see Samoa Joe finally be on the main roster where he belongs. I would have preferred him being on SmackDown, but if they're going to book him this way on Raw in the future, then this is definitely a great plus for Raw. It's badly lacking in the main event division department. They're just rotating guys like Owens, Jericho, Reigns, repeat. Rollins, Jericho, Owens, Reigns, Rollins, repeat. You put Joe in that mix, it would definitely and most certainly freshen things up. So this was good. I thought we had our first match of the evening. I thought it was a solid match. Definitely one of the better matches I've seen between that Bayley and Nia Jax have had on the main roster. Bayley, I thought, really thrived in this role, helping, to make Nia look like a dominant, unstoppable force, with her never say die attitude. Nia was just throwing everything that she had at Bayley, and, Bayley would keep getting back in there and keep trying to overcome the odds. And it looked like she might have had Nia Jax's number as Bayley was able to move out of the way, and Jax ran into the ring post. And just as the referee was beginning to count Nia Jax out, Charlotte would make her presence felt. She would come in, distract Bayley, and that would allow Nia Jax to come back into the ring. The distraction led to Nia hitting the Samoan drop onto Bayley for the victory. So they're obviously building Nia up. There's rumors of a potential fatal four-way match at WrestleMania. So we'll have to see where that goes. And we have the announcement that next week on Raw, we're going to have a championship match. Charlotte versus Bayley for the Raw Women's title. Just please, WWE, do not do the bait and switch that I know you love to do. Do not have Bayley win the title next week on Raw, and then have Charlotte win the title back on Fastlane, and hot potato, hot potato, hot potato. No. I think, I was talking to Lex Man on Twitter last night, either Bayley needs to win the title at WrestleMania, or Bayley needs to win the title at SummerSlam. I would prefer a longer-term journey. You really stretch this journey out like you did on NXT, but just do what you did and replicate that on the main roster. You really build Bayley up as the sympathetic underdog figure, and you could go all the way and get mileage out of this until SummerSlam. You could hold off onto her truly for claiming that women's championship for the first time and make it feel like something special. And I feel that would be a great story to tell. You could even set up a heel Sasha Banks versus Bayley in the same building where they made history at the Barclays Center. Just saying. That would make sense. But that's for another time and another place. I'm just worried. Just don't have Bayley win the title next week. It's just too early. The momentum's not there for her right now, but you can get to that momentum, maybe by WrestleMania, but I think a longer-term vision of SummerSlam, to me, would make more sense. So those are my thoughts on the women's division on Raw, but I like the idea of them teasing a Sasha Banks heel turn, which I think will come in the weeks to come. Maybe we'll see something happen next week. Who knows? We have Braun Strowman get into the ring and just basically annihilate 4 local jabronis. Afterwards, he would go to Mick Foley and pretty much demand, is this the best competition that you have for me? And then Foley announced that it's going to be Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns at the Fastlane pay-per-view on March the 5th. I believe it's the 5th. Let me double-check that. Correct, March the 5th. So that should be a really interesting match, and especially the outcome. I really don't know who's going to walk out the winner of that match. Although, knowing WWE, it's probably going to be like it'll be a double disqualification. Just so nobody wins and nobody loses. So therefore, what was the point? We then had Akira Tozawa, one of my favorites from the Cruiserweight Classic. I really like what Tozawa brought to that Classic. Just tremendous Japanese wrestler. And I thought he had a good debut here on Monday Night Raw. He debuted last week on 205 Live, but as you know, I don't watch 205 Live. So I got enough to watch on my plate. But I might tune in this week, and maybe there will be a review. I don't know. Fatal 5-Way. We'll get to that later on in the show. But Tozawa here, I actually thought he had a good debut and a solid match. Wow, look at this. It's crazy. I must be dreaming. A solid Cruiserweight match on Monday Night Raw? What is this? It doesn't exist. It just doesn't happen. But I thought Tozawa actually had momentum from the crowd. The crowd was kind of getting behind him, which you don't see that often, if at all, in the Cruiserweight division. So, I think, solid match between him and Drew Gulak. They got, at least 6-7 minutes to tell a decent story. And Tozawa was able to get the win after he hit the nice-looking German suplex. And those kicks that he hit to Gulak's chest looked pretty sick as well. So I'd love to see, a feud between Neville and Tozawa for that Cruiserweight Championship. That would be money. And they teased a feud between Brian Kendrick and Tozawa, which I'd be fine with. Tozawa celebrated afterwards. Brian Kendrick came down to the ring and to just congratulate Tozawa and nothing more. So we'll see where they go with that. But it's great. He'll be a great addition to the Cruiserweight division. We then had Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho come down to the ring. And, Owens was bragging and boasting about how the fact that he's still Universal Champion despite having to go one-on-one with Braun Strowman. And Jericho also added that he will beat Sami Zayn and retain his United States Championship tonight. And I love the part where Jericho said, you know what happens to people that call themselves the greatest of all time? You know what happens to people that do that? Tom Brady, you know what happens? Oh, yeah. I got it right here. Say I got the pen. Tom Brady, you just made the list. So Jericho put Tom Brady on the list, and it was great. There's only one GOAT. There's only one 61-minute man, and his name is Chris Jericho. So Jericho put Tom Brady on the list. Breaking news. Breaking. Never thought I would see it happen. Never, ever, ever, ever. And, eventually Goldberg's music would hit. But before this, I like the fact that they teased Jericho and Owens saying that they would fight each other at WrestleMania for both championships. That ain't going to happen for both titles, but I do think we're going to get Jericho versus Kevin Owens, and it's a match I look forward to seeing take place. I think it'll take place for the United States Championship because I think Goldberg will walk into WrestleMania as Universal Champion because Goldberg came out, he got right in Owens' face and pretty much said, I want to challenge you for that Universal Championship at Fastlane because you don't have a dance partner at that show. And then Jericho got frustrated, and he was going to put Goldberg on the list. But then Goldberg took the list. And then he put himself on the list. Oh, Goldberg. Oh, Goldberg. So you pretty much just called yourself. I don't want to insult you, Mr. Goldberg, but you pretty much just called yourself a stupid idiot. I hope you know that. But if you don't, Jericho will put you on the list next week again. So that was funny, even though it was kind of stupid. I laughed. And yeah, we have a Universal Championship match set up for the Fastlane pay-per-view. Goldberg versus Kevin Owens. Oh, Owens, that god-awful title reign that I cannot wait for it to come to an end. It looks like it will be coming to an end. I don't think Lesnar would interfere. Why would he? He has a match against Goldberg. Wouldn't it make sense for, I'm thinking now, I thought Lesnar would interfere in that match at Fastlane, but wouldn't Lesnar want his match against Goldberg at WrestleMania to be for the Universal title? Which I really don't care about. I mean, the title, I haven't been a fan of the way it's been presented. Owens' reign has been shit, in my opinion. So if they want to put the title on Goldberg, fine. Go ahead. But we have that match at Fastlane, so I don't think it's going to be a long match. I think Goldberg's going to go in there and, I'd say it wiped the floor with Kevin Owens. So Goldberg will put an end to this shitty title reign. After this, we had a Tag Team Championship match. Gallows and Anderson versus Cesaro and Sheamus. Pretty standard tag team action here. The one thing that I did like finally. Looks like WWE remembered that Enzo and Cass are in the tag team division because they were at ringside watching this match. And eventually the match broke down into chaos and there was no winner. There was a disqualification as a result of Big Cass kicking Luke Gallows in the face. And therefore Anderson and Gallows retained. So it looks like either we'll get a number one contenders match down the line, either on TV or at the pay-per-view, to determine who faces Anderson and Gallows for the Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania, which I'm all for. I'm happy that they're finally moving Enzo and Cass where they should have been all along into the Tag Team Championship picture. So yeah, the match itself was average. It was just okay, but I like the fact that they're moving Enzo and Cass into this championship picture, and it's long overdue. They've been directionless for what felt like eternity. This stupid feud with Rusev that didn't help him or Enzo and Cass at all. So this is definitely a positive for them. Oh, and then we get to the New Day versus the Shining Stars. Remember when the New Day? Do you remember, man, when the New Day were the longest reigning tag team champions? I remember. See, I gotta eat member berries, guys, because it's felt like ages. And it's only been 2 months, roughly, since the New Day have been the longest reigning tag team champions. And since they dropped those titles, they've done shit with them. I mean, come on, WWE. Either break them up, if you're not gonna do anything with them, or turn them heel. Or have them in contention for the title. I don't know why they would lose, oh, we were longest reigning tag team champions. We had a rematch, but we don't care about ever going back for those titles. We're going to do a pointless TV feud with Titus O'Neil, and now we're going to face the Shining Stars and ask for ice cream bars that not even CM Punk could get. It's just the New Day it's a directionless day. That's what we need to start calling these guys. I mean, they're just directionless. So WWE, please just do something interesting with the New Day. And if you're not going to do anything with them, then maybe it's time you split them up. Love the New Day, but just don't care what they're doing with them right now. It's absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. So this was definitely the low point of the show. We also had the announcement that the Rock and Roll Express are the next inductees into the WWE Hall of Fame. So we got Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson. Huge honor for these guys. Not really familiar with their work. That was obviously way before when I started watching wrestling, but congratulations to one of the all-time great tag team duos in pro wrestling as they will take their rightful place next to the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle for the WWE Hall of Fame 2017 ceremony. So look forward to that the weekend of WrestleMania 33. After this, we moved on to another solid United States Championship match. This time, Sami Zayn He pinned Chris Jericho last week on Raw, so that earned him a United States Championship match. This week, I thought these two, they have really good chemistry with one another. They had another solid match in the ring. Sami Zayn looked like he was coming very close to actually beating Chris Jericho for the United States Championship. There were several instances where I thought, Sami Zayn, where he hit the Blue Thunder Bomb, which never seems to get him a win. That should be the new name of this move. I hit this move, but it never gets me the win. It would be nice if it would ever get the win with the Blue Thunder Bomb, but, Zayn once again was locked into the walls of Jericho, but Zayn was able to reverse it into the pinning combination of the Blue Thunder Bomb, and Jericho kicked out. Eventually, Owens was at ringside. He would super kick Sami Zayn, so Kevin Owens once again rearing his ugly head at Sami Zayn, and that led to Jericho going through the ropes and hitting the Codebreaker to retain his United States Championship. So we'll have to see what they do. Perhaps Sami Zayn gets one more opportunity at that United States Championship, or maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I thought for sure they'd have this match at Fastlane, but we'll see where they go with this. But I thought it was another solid match between two great Canadians. So, Sami Zayn ain't Canadian. What am I talking about? I'm a stupid idiot. He's not Canadian. Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho are Canadian, but not Sami Zayn. So just pretend I didn't say that. Backstage, we had Charlotte interrupt Sasha Banks, pretty much run down the fact that you're a complete failure. Everything that you've done is a failure, and she made the point that Roadblock end of the line was really fitting because it was the end of the line for your career. So I like this because I know where they're now going with Sasha Banks, and it's going to lead to the heel turn, and that's fine. She goes on a losing streak, okay. I'm okay with that as long as you tie it together and it has a long-term purpose and meaning. So I await when. Maybe it's next week. We'll see what happens in the championship match between Charlotte and Bayley. So we'll see. I like this segment between Austin Aries doing an in-ring interview with the Cruiserweight Champion Neville. I like the fact that it potentially foreshadowed a showdown between these two once Austin Aries heals up from his eye injury. I think he'll be a great addition to the Cruiserweight division. I'm assuming that's where WWE will put him, and I think a match between him and Neville would just be fucking phenomenal. So that would be my money match at WrestleMania, would be Aries versus Neville for that Cruiserweight Championship. But Neville said he will, make whoever wins the Fatal 5-Way match at the 205 Live taping tonight, they will bend a knee to their Cruiserweight champion. And then out would come the 5 participants in that Fatal 5-Way. Cedric Alexander, Noam Dar, Jack Gallagher, Tony Nese, and TJ Perkins. And then a massive brawl would erupt, and this would lead to a 3-on-3 or 6-man tag team match with Perkins, Gallagher, and Alexander teaming up to take on Nese, Dar, and Neville. And what I liked in this match, it was a solid, one of the, better cruiserweight matches we've seen, due to the fact that I liked what they did with Neville in this match. He became frustrated with his teammates, particularly Noam Dar, and Neville just said, "That's it. I'm done with this crap. I'm not going to do what you guys say. I'm the king of the cruiserweights." And Neville walked out. And that would eventually lead to Cedric Alexander getting the win. So perhaps, I see Cedric walking out the winner of the Fatal 5-Way and challenging Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship at the Fastlane pay-per-view, because the winner of that match will challenge Neville at the Fastlane pay-per-view. I think Neville versus Cedric Alexander would be a tremendous Cruiserweight match if you allow them to go in there and tell the story that they're able to tell without putting any limitations on them. Just let these guys go out there and go balls to the walls. Can't harp on that enough. But I thought, as a whole, the Cruiserweight division this week on Raw was the first time that I've enjoyed what they did with it from top to bottom. So, yay! You actually booked the Cruiserweights right for a week. I do it again next week, and the week after that, 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 and the week after that. And then don't forget the week after that. And then we get to our main event, Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe. Joe got a lot of offense in on this match. Joe, before his music even hit, came down and just beat down Roman Reigns. I like the fact that Roman sold the coughing, like the choking, and just like, Roman was really selling that he was just taking a beating. But Joe with the lefts and rights really just dominated and maintained control of Reigns early on throughout this match. Roman was able to get in his offense. He got in the sidekick. Joe's head hit a Superman punch. But just as it looked like Joe was going to fall victim to the big dog, Braun Strowman would come down, and Reigns would Superman punch Strowman off the ring apron. Joe would kick Reigns to the back of the head and whip Reigns into a spinning Uranagi suplex for the win. So I would have rather have seen Joe got the win clean, no bullshit with Braun Strowman. But whatever, Joe won. I'm not going to complain. And then afterwards, Braun Strowman laid out Roman Reigns, so that makes sense, tying together the issues that they have had stemming from the Royal Rumble Championship, Universal Championship match. And we go off the air with Braun Strowman standing tall. And that was this week's edition of Monday Night Raw. I thought it was another solid show. Not as good as last week's, I thought, but still a good show. And if I had to give this week's show a grade, it would be a B- to WWE. Keep this up. Keep giving me good episodes of Raw like this, and I won't complain. So that does it for my review from Monday Night Raw, guys. Thank you for watching. Remember to please click the like and subscribe button for more video content coming soon to this channel. Be on the lookout tomorrow. I will be uploading my SmackDown live review, breaking down everything that took place on Tuesday's episode of SmackDown. So that is it, guys. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Until then, take care and have a great rest of your